So today in this video, I'm actually going to be showing you how to organize your sewing patterns. With my patterns, I'm actually surprised I've made it as long as I have without figuring out a way to organize them. You're going to see in this video my ridiculous mess of patterns, because as soon as I find out that Joann's is having a sale, I'm like, buy everything. And then I end up with this giant stack of patterns that I have nowhere to put anymore. At a certain point, I was putting them in my closet with my regular books. Anywhere that I could find a place for them not to get wrinkled, I was shoving in random patterns. And I'm pretty sure, sorry boyfriend, that I have some probably more patterns hidden somewhere in the room, but I don't even know where. So this video is gonna be me trying to catalog and organize them so you guys can see what's worked for me, and then hopefully I find those other patterns sometime. So welcome to my awful sewing space. So I've lived in this apartment where I am here in San Francisco for about a year, and this is what I've been working with for a while. So everything you see on Vintage on Tap is in here somewhere. It's kind of embarrassing. I figured I'd show you guys so you guys could see that even though the videos look great and the pictures might look great, this is the shit that's going on behind the scenes. You'll have to bleep that, sorry. Bunch of stuff here, pattern scraps and remnants over here, or I'm sorry, fabric remnants on this side. I have the majority of my patterns here. I also have some in the closet, but these ones were originally bought, these like bins were originally bought for bunch of my, you know, like little knickknacks like buttons and things like that, and eventually the patterns just overtook everything. So I'm gonna open the door so you guys can see what's inside and what that looks like. That's not good. I've got yarn, I've got ribbon, I've got buttons, I've got knitting needles, stacks and stacks and stacks of patterns in here. It's so bad. I even have this is actually how I organize all my patterns that I've made alterations on. Every project I have has the regular printed paper pattern and my copies of that pattern with all my alterations. So I have a lot going on here, and exact same thing on the drawer underneath. This one I have like elastic and zippers, more patterns and more patterns, and it's out of control. Oh, and facing thread, which I can never seem to get rid of. I'll be showing you guys what I bought to try and fix the situation and make it so that I can actually find stuff, because you have to imagine that once these drawers have gotten filled, because they do get filled as soon as I start shoving more stuff in here, when I open the drawer, my envelopes will start getting ruined and crinkled, and I don't want to keep ruining my patterns, especially when I have so many, especially when I have some vintage ones mixed in here too. I'll be showing you guys next what I bought, and I'll be linking down below in the description, so scroll down and read that as well. The things that I bought to organize this stuff and actually make it not look gross. To organize my patterns, I went to IKEA, and so these boxes, as soon as I saw them on their website, looked amazing for this. So I bought the Tejna boxes in baby blue, because if you see my website, a lot of the things on there are this color, which I love. They go with everything I have already. I bought two different sizes, one for the regular patterns and then one for my stuff in the manila envelopes, which I bought the bigger size. Definitely check out the description of my video, because I will be posting the link of these particular IKEA products in there. Also, what you need to do this is a couple different arts and crafty tools. So I got my X-Acto blade, I've got my paper scissors, I've got a ruler, some tape, and a cutting board. So let's get started. So the first thing you want to do is just open up the packaging. Don't throw anything away except that plastic wrap, because you actually need everything that comes in the box. There's really not much stuff packed in there, but even the regular cardboard backing that makes it so that, you know,
the box doesn't get bent in transit, you'll actually use. So you can see the box builds up really fast itself. Now you want to grab that cardboard that came in the back and use that as your dividers, just because it's kind of stiff cardboard. For the smaller size box, I was able to get 3 different dividers out of there, and I just kind of eyeballed it. So just wanted made sure that for the measurements on that it fit into the box and that it didn't stick up too high, that the lid wouldn't sit on it. So you know, just kind of eyeballed the measurements and used a template, you know, used one as a template for the other boxes that I had. So as you can see, I've already cut everything out with the X-Acto blade, and then I am putting them inside the box just to double check that they sit in there. And even if they kind of flop around, it's okay, just because they're just general dividers. Once the patterns are in there, they'll sit fine. Now these are divider tabs that I found online as a free printable. I actually found them on Pinterest, so check out the description below because they're actually free, and I was able to just print off a couple sheets and just, you know, do a little snip action to get them to go onto my different my cardboard dividers. Now this one, you want to make sure to tape it down really good because, you know, the top of the tab will see a lot of wear and tear. So make sure that to tape the tab not just to the cardboard but the tab itself, because it almost serves like a laminate, so it'll make it a little bit stiffer. And then here I'm also taping the top of the cardboard, which might not seem like a big deal, but as you're going through the dividers, you don't want to give yourself a paper cut, so just kind of line the top of it with some tape and then cut off the excess tape, and there you have your dividers ready to go and be put into the box and used. I did not label mine just because I only have a few different categories of patterns. So if you have more patterns, you might want to find some more scrap cardboard and repurpose that so you don't have to spend money on dividers. Now here I am putting all the patterns in there, and obviously, you know, organize them in whatever way makes sense to you and what patterns you own. You can see here I've put in all the numbers of the patterns facing up so they're easier to find.
So as I started to organize my pattern, I realized that I have no way to organize what is in the boxes besides like the divider tabs that I made. So I decided to kind of search online, see if I could find a solution to actually be able to keep track of what I have duplicates of if I have them, or if I'm going down to the fabric store and buying something, that making sure that I don't have doubles, which sucks. It's only happened once, but it's kind of a pain in the ass. So anyway, did some searching and I found out that Google Photos would probably be the best option for me. Even though I have an iPhone and I love my iPhone, the cloud service with that and the syncing of the photos was not going to be very efficient for me. So I decided to go with Google Photos. So I'm going to show you guys an example from one of my patterns as to how I'm going to be organizing them moving forward. I've already done this with all the patterns that are now in my boxes, so this is just going to be a quick example so you guys can kind of see what I'm doing. So first things first is taking a photo of the pattern. So I have my Simplicity 8242 here, so I'm going to go ahead and snap a clear centered photo. And so I can get a little OCD about this, so I'm going to go ahead and crop my photo out just so that it's nothing but the pattern envelope. And then I'm also going to rotate that. Cool, click done. Now for the next portion, I'm actually going to also take a picture of the back of the pattern just in case I'm ever making this and I just want to know how much wool I need to buy for this jacket. I can go ahead and just look it up on my app. So I'm going to go ahead and snap another picture. And again, same thing, you want to make sure that the picture is clear, and I want to go ahead and crop my photo down. So again, you can see the pattern number and then all the measurements that are on the back. Cool. So at that point, I've taken the pictures. And so now I'm going to go ahead and open up Google Photos, which will pull from your camera roll and then upload them to the Google Cloud. So here I have the pictures and they're uploading. Now the whole process is automatic. You can tweak the settings a little bit on the Google Photos website, but for me it's already ready. So I'm gonna go ahead and go to my albums. And here you can kind of see some of the albums I have. So I have my my owned galleries, I have my patterns to buy, stuff I want to buy, and I have here the simplicity reproduction. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that, as well as click on the photos button, the add photos button on the top right hand corner. And so here, if you scroll, you see everything that I've ever uploaded to Google Cloud. And then here I have my 2. So I'm going to go ahead and click on those 2. I'm going to click done on the top right. And those, once I scroll down to the bottom, are uploaded here. So those are the 2 pictures I just took. So I'm gonna go ahead and click into the first photo that I took. I'm gonna go into the information button and then add description. So what I'm gonna write, just to make this a little bit easier for me to search, is simplicity. I'm gonna write the name of the pattern. So I'm gonna say simplicity 8242. I also want to be able to know what decade it is in case I want to make something specific for that decade, 1940s. I'm also going to write a few more things that I'm going to be normally looking for. So separates, if I spell it correctly. I'm going to write buttons. I'm going to write business. And this sort of pattern kind of reminds me of fall, winter, so I'm going to put that in there as well. Cool. So now that I wrote in all my things that I'm more likely to search for when I'm making this, oh, maybe pencil skirt and jacket. Pencil skirt, jacket. Cool. So it's not technically a pencil skirt, but it works for searching's sake. So I'm going to go ahead and just click back. So now when I click on info, that stuff's in there. And same thing over here. So this one I'm just gonna write simplicity, simplicity 8242. Cool. Now the reason that you want to include all the descriptions is so that you can use the search feature on Google Photos. So I'm going to show you guys an example of that. So I'm going to go to the photos section. I'm going to search well, I put one in here earlier this year, simplicity 1460. So I'm going to go ahead and search that. And you can see right away it shows me at the top the album that it's in as well as the photos based off of the tags that I had put in earlier, just like the other pattern. Now the catch about the search function is that it takes probably about 24 hours for any photos and any tags and description that you uploaded for that photo to be read, processed, and searchable. So, you know, I would show you this new simplicity that I just put in there, but it's going to take a little bit for it to show up. So the rest of my inventory, though, is totally searchable. So, for example, also if I wanted to look up a Vogue pattern, everything that I have listed as Vogue shows up. So, definitely makes it faster to go through later, and hopefully it's useful for you guys as much as it is for me. So I just put the boxes back where they're going to be sitting. As you can see, I still have a big mess down here, but it definitely has cleaned up the space a lot. The boxes I put at the bottom were the pattern traced the patterns that I traced and I've worked with and stuff that I printed online. And I also put all my real vintage patterns at the bottom because I don't access them as much. So my biggest two here at the top. Luckily, you know, they're pretty small and they don't look super busy. So the next thing that I have to fix is this drawer that is just filled with like zippers and a bunch of random notions. And then my big fabric. It's not even a box pile thing. So yeah, thanks for watching the video.